Sup, nerds? Are you a stamp collector?
Stamp collection!
So Stamp Swap is a really, I feel like it's pretty unique drafting tile placement game, just because of the way when you draft and then you pick one thing to keep and then you do an I split you choose based on what you drafted. And if you choose other people's piles and if one person doesn't get chosen, they get to keep everything. So it's got some really great choices to make. One, because when you draft, your tendency is to draft everything you want. Mm-hmm. But then you have to split it, and there's a good chance you're not going to keep everything you drafted. So then you need to balance your piles such that either pile you end up with, like, you do get something good and useful out of it. You don't want to make one pile that's just like super great and then one pile that's no one's going to want. But there also is like a hidden tile mechanic where a lot of the stamps can come out face down.
So there's like a bluffing aspect?
Yeah, it's like, hey, this pile's got a lot of face down. It could be really good. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And then there's tile laying as well.
Yeah, so, but I mean, you really just told the whole thing because it's 3 rounds and each round has 3 sections. And guess what? The first one collect, you draft tiles. The second collect, you do an I split, you choose. And the third section, you place the tiles on your mat. And there are multiple reasons why you would want a tile. There is color, theme, size, point value on them, and then scoring cards here in the middle. Yeah, and their location, usually refers to these.
And obviously where you place them on your board matters for points as well.
Yeah, but we're really only for these.
Yeah.
There's no inherent points there's also bonuses whenever you flip out. There's cards that will tell you, how many of what tile to put into the draft pool, including whether they're going to be face up or face down. Mm-hmm. They usually have little special abilities, little extra things people get to view. Hey, this round everybody gets to view a face down thing. Everybody gets to add extra things or there's probably other options. I'm just not thinking of them right now.
Yeah, and most of the points you get are end of game points. Mm-hmm. There is
towards you have a ramp towards the end. Really. Yeah, because you're going to pick one of these goals every round.
And your first time you'll get if you got 20 points, that'd be impressive.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's it's probably possible. Possible.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
So the first round is 10-ish points. Second round is maybe 20-ish points. Mm-hmm. And then third round you have where you get the thing.
And then you also have endgame scoring. Yeah. So third round kind of feels like you get all the points there, but it's really 2 different scoring phases back to back.
Yeah.
But that's also something you can see what people are drafting. You're saying, oh, I know you're drafting those tiles or choosing those tiles, whether you draft or keep them. You're doing that for this scoring card that you're saving up to be your last one.
Yeah. And because you choose which scoring card you want to activate for yourself, there's this one is any rectangles in your group. If you score that one early, I don't really need rectangles unless it affects something else. But also I don't want to let somebody else who's saving that for the end get a ton of rectangles.
And it is interesting to think about like what you just talked about there, with hate drafting. Do you hate draft by taking them from the draft?
Yeah.
Or do you allow them to take them so that you can take them from them in the I split you choose? Now, granted, they can only save one, but if you see that they already took 2, you can be like, okay, well, and then they grab a third one. You can be like, all right, cool.
There's almost
keeping one.
Two choices for hate drafting. You can take it from the beginning, and then you can take it from their pile.
And then there's also special ability cards and other point cards, the exhibitors and the specialists that you can draft from the pile, which are the only kind of clunky thing, because there is a rule, I believe, where if you draft a specialist and it's in your we haven't done the I split you choose thing yet, but while it's in your possession, you can still use its ability if its ability is during this phase. Yeah. Let's say there's a card that says, hey, every one of your turns during the draft phase, you can look at a face down stamp, right? If that's the first thing I take, then the remaining 5 draft turns I have, I think in theory, you would be able to look at a tile.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit clunky. That's the only clunky thing, that and some of the scoring cards, what constitutes a group and what constitutes not a group. And we had to look up the rules for that type of thing, saying
and I don't know if it's a clunky mechanic. Maybe it just wasn't explained as clear as we would have liked, or it wasn't intuitive to us.
No, it's just the game is super fluid and really great for new players. The only wrinkles you might run into is describing to them what a group is or what a perfect, there's something about perfect corners. There's one card where if all 4 of the corners of a stamp meet at like the same point.
Mm-hmm.
So like you'll have to take a quick aside to explain what that thing is. With the exception of that, like you could just kind of say, we're going to draft, then we're going to swap, then we're going to show. And that's when you score any of these.
Oh, I will say the only other thing that you could maybe consider kind of clunky is the theme. So the theme of the stamp is the picture on it. And I guess it's not really subjective what each picture is. But one, it's not super clear. Like it'll be like, okay, this I see this purple thing here. Is that a spaceship? It's an airplane? Okay, it's an airplane.
That's a vehicle, not a space theme, right?
And hypothetically, if it had a rocket ship on it, is that a vehicle? Is it a space theme? Is it both themes in one? And just it's not a quick glance intuitive. You have to kind of think about it for a second.
Yeah. The colors have a border thing on them, where the borders are there for like colorblind friendly type thing. Kind of wish the theme
had something on it as well.
I mean, I don't think we've run into an actual issue where somebody took a stamp thinking that it was one theme when really it was another. It's more like you say,
it's
just
like
the stop.
This right here has like a silhouette of a spaceship flying through space. So if I had the cards that say 1 point per space theme and 1 point per vehicle theme, I'd be sitting there going, no, it's both. Both of them trigger this one. And that could cause an argument.
That sounds more like a problem.
I would sit there and...
I'm saying I don't think I've really run into an issue of like
where someone got
just
screwed over because of it.
No, honestly, I don't even think the issue you just brought up, I don't think I've seen that exact type of example. It's more like it slows things down of going, oh wait, what is that? Let me pick up every stamp real quick and double check the picture to see what theme it qualifies for. But honestly, we're nitpicking the problems because this is a very quick, very smooth, really fun game. We played a game with his wife, my sister, and she loved it a lot. She doesn't really like super big, heavy games, so she picked up on this one really quick, and we all had a really great time with it. It's
a solid mid-weight like drafting and tile placement. It's much more drafting than it is tile placement, although tile placement's really important. But
actually, is tile placement as important?
I would say how you place your stamps could hypothetically get you a ton of points. But the stamps you draft to place is probably more important than how.
But I think that depending on the goals, though, it's possible that like you happen to get goals that all like it doesn't really, they just want one group. Like everything's like one group or something. You know what I mean?
I had the specialist that I could count all my stamps as one group. So that was great because I didn't need to worry about that at all. But at the end of the day, it's Stonemaier game. So you know what's good. Like,
honestly, even when they're games, like even like my least, if I had to rank, my least favorite, which might be Pendulum or Charterstone, they're still good games. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen him make a game that just falls flat.
Yeah.
Like never.
No. So if you're looking for a copy of this game, there will be a link down there to buy it.
Down there. Down where, Wes? Down where?
I'm tickling it with my toes. There's also a link to Game Toppers. They are our channel sponsor. We love playing on our Game Toppers. If you don't have one, get one.
And while you're down there, both clicking on the description for the link to buy this, clicking on Game Toppers, you better click on that like and subscribe, and then you'll never be bored. Oh man, so many clicks. Sup nerds, let's swap some I could have gotten way worse. Okay, so you just be happy that that's all I said.